what's your title? What do you call yourself? In terms of like your profession, your career in yoga. I've read a bit about your bio, but just kind of introduce professionally who you are.
So I'm a massage therapist, but I'm also a yoga teacher.
Okay.
And I've been a yoga teacher for over 20 years. And my pathway into getting into yoga I started yoga as a curiosity. I did not mean to be a yoga teacher.
Yeah, I saw that in the book.
I guess I tilted. I'm still tilting. So, I'm studying, I studied dance, I studied martial arts, all these things in my background. And I'm in massage school. I'm also very dyslexic. So if people who read the book and you see some grammatical errors, I'm sorry. So I started with integral yoga.
Okay.
And back then, integral yoga was you do a pose, you lay down. And that was way, way back then, before I started working with Jivamukti. And then that was a different story. And so it was a great relaxing process, but it didn't really feed me, not enough. And I sort of let it go. And then I started going to massage school. And a friend of mine named Evelyn Lee talked me into going into Jivamukti.
Okay.
So imagine, said this is 7 o'clock in the morning. Jivamukti by the time was on, I think, 2nd Avenue and by 8th Street, something like there.
Okay.
And I go there. Now, I've studied all these different things. I go there and I figured all sun salutations were the same, right? Not the case. I go there and they do these things called jump backs.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, what the is this? And so jump backs and jump throughs. And they did a series of sun salutation A and B.
Mm-hmm.
And then they went into handstands. And I'm standing there. Everybody's in the handstands. I'm like, okay. And I got sort of pissed.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, I'm going to come back there after I finish school and study.
Okay.
And that's what I did. I studied there. And that was an interesting approach. I was still sort of big, not as big as I am now. And I went there and I studied. And I did not, stuff was just not working for me.
Okay.
The pace of the class was not working for me.
So you encounter what a lot of people encounter in yoga classes when they go in. Sometimes the pace is really fast. And when you talk about the jump backs, there are transitions from one, and I'm just starting my YTT, but for people who are viewing, their transitions between yoga poses. And sometimes those transitions can be, you jump back from one pose into another pose, or they can be more heightened, and it can make people who are new to yoga feel like, wait a minute, what's going on? Yeah. Because there are other ways to move from one posture to the next.
There's these subtle details that they just assume
right,
or you just get by arbitration, right?
Yeah.
Simple things of you exhale, you lift the torso, you inhale, you bring it out, you bring it down. That little detail, right? It was just
right.
And if you're a person of size, after a while you're out of breath. You're no longer in your breath. You can't really continue.
Right.
So it was like it didn't quite work for me. But I kept on. So I went back to the school and I started studying, and I watched people do certain things. We had some really artists in the classes doing this stuff, but it didn't matter. I was in my zone trying to practice and wasn't getting much. I worked privately with Allison West.
Okay.
She's Yoga Union. She's got a big studio now. And I worked with her because we did an exchange, massage for yoga. And I did that with her for a long time. And she really helped me to understand simple things as knowing my feet and spreading the feet out and working that process. And I liked her approach so much when we were doing it privately that I decided to take her teacher training.
Okay.
Yeah, I took her teacher training. And it was excellent because what she did, which was exceptional, it was she brought all these other yoga teachers into her teacher training. She brought the Kundalini people in. She brought the Kupala people in. She brought the Iyengar people in. And it gave me a different approach of how to look at yoga. You know, they're saying, you know, I would say every yoga principle, every yoga system is dedicated to certain people.
Okay.
Certain body types, certain mental types. So that helped me. And even though I didn't find my way into feeling really comfortable within those groups, I took pieces from them. I went to study with Leslie Kavanaugh for a little while, his anatomy and yoga, which helped me understand breathing.
Yeah.
I went to study with the Iyengar people to help me understand alignment. And even that alignment wasn't quite working for me because of girth and weight and gravity. Although I kept on going and I really got some good stuff out of it. And then I started teaching a little bit and was doing one class a week. I rented out a space, a small space, you know, because I was curious and I wanted to work with people. And that happened for a couple of years, and then I got written up by the New York Times.
Right. So this was when you created Buddha Body Yoga. You called that was from the beginning. That was the name of your studio from the beginning. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I got written up in the New York Times, and it was like everything came at me. I was like, everything came at me. It was really interesting. It was intense. I got pushed into, because my classes only from both sides. And so the first push was, you're a separatist or a segregationist because I'm only working from both sides. Even though there's a majority of classes out there. So it was really interesting to see the thinking of the society that I'm involved. Because I'm excluding, because I want to create a container that's going to support people of size, I'm being segregationalist. I found that was fascinating.
That is fascinating. Yeah, because it's, you know, it's you're like, you talk about the different types of yoga. And a lot of people don't realize it when as a newbie coming in to starting yoga, for a lot of folks don't realize, yes, there are a number of different types of yoga. So it's finding the right yoga that works for you, the yoga that people that resonates with your body. Like if somebody's introduced to a yoga class and they say, oh, well, I don't feel like I'm enjoying it, or I'm getting something from it, but it's not quite for me. It's also possible for them to find a different type of yoga that may be more in alignment with what they need, what their bodies need. But also, so that's good to know, but also finding the right teacher, that not every teacher is going to be the right teacher for you. So it's seeking out the right teachers. And then it's also seeking out teachers who can understand your body type as well. So there has to be, what I've learned is that there has to be something in it. People have to be able to go and find the classes that are right for them. So it's not necessarily, it's not discrimination. It's just being able to make yoga accessible to every human being and every human body, you know. And to know that when people come to yoga, I've heard a lot of folks that I've known say, well, I need to lose weight before I start a yoga class. Yes. I can't keep up with those folks. So it's really important for them to know, no, you know, you can find there are yoga teachers who are teaching yoga according to your body type, and that can make yoga accessible for you. And not even necessarily, and I want to get into this too, the language that they use in terms of how to move through the postures is different. I know I see that you use a lot of props and people may need those and not even know that that's an option to use those during a yoga class. So it's an extraordinary thing. And the other side of that is teaching people, having people to accept or celebrate their bodies, their own unique body type. That walking into a class, and you can talk about this as well, I hope you do, is that the language, when I first came into yoga, the language was, a lot of it was about losing weight or tightening your abs, or, you know, and a lot of people don't realize how that language can be very abusive and triggering and excluding and really outdated.
But it sells.
But it sells.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're, most studios are looking to sell.
Yeah.
Not be. And it's a hard experience to really, I mean, my aim at this point,
yeah,
is to try to help yoga teachers expand their vocabulary, their physical vocabulary,
right,
of how to work with people of size.
So that being, sorry to interrupt you, but that being, and then you're probably about to go right into it. So what are some things that you say? I know you have a whole teacher training about this, but in terms of like, how are you speaking about size when people come into your classes? How are you teaching them to talk about their bodies and to see their bodies? You know, what are some of the language that you use and that you teach yoga teachers to use in classes?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to get the yoga teachers to slow down.
Okay.
Slow down. Have a conversation. Start having conversations with your students. For me, as a person of size, working with people of size, I'm always having the conversation of how you're feeling, what's going on with your body.
Yeah.
Not what you're doing, how fast can you do it, keep going, keep going, keep going. How are you doing? The breath. Moving the breath and using the breath as the conduit to have your body moving to experience the sensorial approach of the body. Mm-hmm. We don't focus on weight because weight is a very two-dimensional vehicle. Okay. And what I mean by that is, I say to them, if you want to lose weight, work on your food. If you want to lose weight, work on being happier. Okay. Because the cortisol levels in your body is one of the reasons it's holding your weight. The emotional states are what's holding your weight. Yes, you have to be physical. Size matters only if you are not healthy. To equate size and health is two different things. Mm-hmm. There's a level between size and health that you got to play with. If you can't walk up and down your stairs because of your size, you got to find ways of working your cardiovascular up. I know lots of people who are 200-300 pounds and they go to the doctor and their chemical work is perfect, mm-hmm. but they're big. And the doctor will still say, you got to lose weight. It's not good for you. Mm-hmm. But doctor, my heart's okay. Everything's fine. Yeah. I'm just a person. Mm-hmm. There's a poem that I wrote, which basically goes, what did the raisin say to the watermelon? You're fat. What did the watermelon say to the raisin? No, I'm a watermelon.
Yeah, that was in your, I saw that in your UK yoga magazine article. Yeah.
And it's important to realize that everybody doesn't have to be the same.
Right.
And it's important that you can actually, the beautiful thing about these days, what I love, and this is the beautiful thing about body resilience.
Yes.
Is that you're seeing so many people of size doing yoga. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. They're playing with it. They're exploring with it. They're doing everything they can with it. They're making it their own.
Yeah.
Right? And I said when I first started this whole process of Buddha Body Yoga with the New York Times, and they asked me, why do you have to separate? I said, when you see big people in regular classes, when you see the yoga teachers being able to work with both big and small people, I no longer have to exist.
Right.
So,
exactly. And
it's happening. I'm not crazy about how it's happening sometimes, but it is happening, and things have to change. And I love the change that it's going through.
Yeah, I do too. There's a woman I work with. There's Diane Bondi. There's Christina, Thick Girl Yoga LA, who I work with often. She's a sister out here in LA. And she does yoga for thick girls. But it's not thick guys, thick girls. That's what she calls it. But everybody's welcome to the class. But the class is a space for thick folks to come and be able to learn how to move through a yoga class, how their bodies move through a yoga class, and be able to embrace it. So it's extremely exciting. especially, you know, with this book, Embodied Resilience Through Yoga,
Yes.
that it's about your story about different body types, but it's so many people that are coming into yoga now, and from different ethnicities, from different body types, from different sexual orientations,
yes.
and that we all deserve a place in it.
Yes.
A voice in it, that all of our bodies deserve to be in it, and find health in it and wellness in it, and expansion in it and all those things. And to be able to call out or bring yoga teachers' attention to the necessity of inclusive spaces, and spaces where you are including people of size, people of color in how you talk about yoga is really important.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for your time. So you are Buddha Body Yoga. So people can take classes with you. How can people join in your classes?
Subscribe to the classes that we have. I do 5 classes a week.
Okay.
There's a free class that happens on Facebook on Mondays from 6 to 7.
Okay.
In the morning.
Okay. East Coast time.
Yeah. East Coast time. But it's also on Facebook for a while. All those videos we have goes to our library. We have a Zoom class that happens on Wednesday. It's intermediate class. Friday is the advanced class. And we have Thursday evening classes for an hour and a half. The morning classes are an hour, which I'm not crazy about, but people have to go to work. Okay. And on Saturday morning, there's an hour and a half classes. Okay. So those classes keep you going, and we have videos that you can get of the classes we've done. And part of the Zoom classes.
And you're in New York City. What part of New York City are you in? I'm
in the west. It's actually my office is right now on Broadway and 26th Street. That's where the classes are. My massage office is the same place. Yeah. So I'm there. Yeah. Wonderful. And like you said, just pioneering in so many ways in terms of men of color in yoga, men of color of size in yoga, and pioneering ways for people to be able to see how they can bring themselves to it. But it's Embodied Resilience Through Yoga, you guys. 30 mindful essays about finding empowerment after addiction, trauma, grief, and loss. And Michael Hayes' story in that book is called My Buddha Body. And he talks about some of the things we discussed in this interview.